Welcome to the Samira Space, where we deep dive into the stories that matter and the voices that often go unheard. Today's episode is a difficult but vital one. We're focusing on Gaza and more specifically on the devastating toll this conflict is taking on children. Behind every statistic is a name, a face, and a story. And today, we'll be hearing about those stories. We'll talk to Alhaji Farouk Musa, who brings first-hand insights into the crisis, the unimaginable grief families are facing, and what the world needs to understand, not just intellectually, but emotionally. We'll also ask the hard questions: what can be done? What can be changed? And how can those of us watching from afar play a meaningful role in helping the people of Gaza, especially its youngest victims? Welcome to the show, Mr. Farouk. So how have you been?
I've been okay, alhamdulillah. And how have you been?
Good, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah.
Nice to have you.
Yeah, nice to have you.
So can you just give us a brief background about yourself, and then we'll just dive in?
Okay. Well, my name is Farouk Umar Musa. I hail from Sokoto State. I was born here in Abuja, grew up in Kaduna, did most of my schooling in Kaduna, studied accounting in Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, and basically I am an accountant professionally, but then I have other hobbies that I do as well, like photography. I am an abstract photographer. I do that a lot. I used to be a runway model at some point.
MashaAllah.
I did modeling, and I'm a workout enthusiast. I love to hit the gym and so many other things. So yeah, that's just a little from what I do.
It's nice to have you. So let's just dive in. So Gaza, for people that are watching that don't really know much about Gaza, can you just give us like an intro and what's been going on with Gaza?
Well, you can't talk about Gaza without talking about how it all started.
Right.
You know, we have to go back to really understand, because before you know where you're going to, you have to know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So we have to go back to after the World War. What Hitler did to the Jews and all that. So then they were looking for a space for the Jews.
Yes.
For the refugees of the war. So there was this Balfour Declaration from the Lord Balfour, which was the Prime Minister of the UK as at then, sent a letter to the Rothschild family that they declared Palestine as Israel instead of Palestine. So it's just like prior to that. They give them refuge in Palestine. So they were that's the Jewish people.
Okay.
They were given refuge in Palestine. So time started going, they started getting a lot of support from the West, Britain and America, and then the Jewish settlement started expanding.
Yes.
And then fast forward 3 to 4 years, as at 1948, that was when the declaration came that, okay, the space is going to be declared Israel.
Right.
Instead of Palestine.
Palestine, yes.
And it wasn't even their space to give. It wasn't Balfour, the space was not his to give. They call it a land without a people for a people without a land, but it's a lie. There was a people on the land, which was Palestine, and they had their own system and everything. So Nakba happened 1948. The Palestinians were driven out in masses, and a lot of people were unalived in the process of establishing the Israeli state. So that was how Israel was established. For a lot of people that don't understand, like Nigerians, a lot of people, once they hear Israel, they feel, it is the birthplace of Jesus and all that. But the birthplace of Jesus was Bethlehem, and Bethlehem is Palestine.
Right.
It's not Israel.
Right.
So, people have to understand all of this.
Yes.
So fast forward, since then, the Palestinians have been subjugated to a lot of, atrocities. They don't have the right to self-determination and all of that. Israel controls everything.
Yes.
And, they were driven to Gaza as an enclave. The Gaza is just like it's a strip.
Yes.
And it's the most densely populated place in the world. It's very, very, it's small and it's densely populated.
Yes.
So, it was 2006 where Israel left Gaza, and then before they were occupying Gaza, and back and forth, a lot of wars here and there.
Yes.
And then, so
And
fast
then they
forward,
finally left.
they finally left Gaza,
To
but
where?
still, no, back to the borders of the Israel.
Okay.
You know, there was this, what do you call it, the Oslo agreements.
Okay.
Then, where they partitioned Israel and Palestine with the borders, and Jerusalem being the capital of Palestine.
Yes.
But then Israel went back on that agreement, because then it was Yasser Arafat and their former Yasser Rabin, their former Prime Minister of Israel. But those two were killed, and then the whole agreement shattered.
Yes.
So that's how the cycle of violence continued. So there's this group now called Hamas.
Okay.
Hamas is, how will I say, I'll call them freedom fighters, I'll call them resistance fighters.
Okay.
Because Hamas are just a bunch of orphans that were, that had a lot of their families unalived, and now they are trying to, get their self-determination. So to this current conflict that is going on, it all started from October 7th, 2023.
Okay.
When Hamas entered the side of Israel to go and try and abduct people, to use them as a bargaining chip.
Okay.
Because there are lots of Palestinian children that are in jails in Israel.
Oh, for doing what? Children?
For as simple as throwing stones.
Oh my God.
You understand? They take kids without the parents' consent, they put them in prisons.
As young as, like, what's that age?
As young as 7, as young as 8, as young as 10. Little children.
This is
a lot of people are in jail without this thing. So Hamas, though a lot of things happen, and there's a narration that Israel knew was going to happen, and it was a plot, so that they use it as a pretext for what they're doing right now. Because even the security at the border were removed. It was almost as if Hamas was allowed to do what they wanted to do then, so that
they can use
it as an excuse for this genocide that is going on currently. So Hamas entered the wall, the separating wall. There was a lot of things that happened. I'm not for violence.
Definitely.
So it's not like I agree with everything that Hamas did.
Yes.
But what can someone do when he has tried everything
They're
to get
helpless.
his freedom? They're helpless. So they have to, struggle with arms. So a lot of things happen, and a lot of casualties that even Israel got that were claiming it was Hamas. It was actually them that actually killed their own people. So that they
can just
they put it on them and use it as an excuse. So since October 7th, Israel launched an attack on Palestine. If you are going after a so-called terrorist group, as they call it, you should know how to, not to involve civilians in the process. So, but now it's been clear to the whole world that the whole reason for doing this was for land grab, was for occupation. I mean, because they have been occupying spaces. Israel is the occupying force, and according to international law, as an occupying power, you have no right to self-defense when the person you're occupying decides to stand up. It's the person that you're occupying that has a right to self-defense and self-determination. So they were claiming, the whole West and their propaganda were claiming Israel has the right to defend itself. Defend itself from what actually? From what actually?
Because it's not even their land
to begin with. It's not their land. And again, the people the Palestinians have no army. They have no strong governments. They have no defense, nothing.
They're just left to themselves.
They're just left to themselves. Just some bunch of people that have some few arms, fighting with the most sophisticated army in the world that has a lot of technology being built by companies like Elbit System in the UK. I mean, given softwares from Microsoft and all the major tech companies. So
most of them are in support.
Support.
They're enabling.
They're enabling it. Most of them are complicit in all of this. I mean, they have been testing weapons, new weapons on them. They use phosphorus bombs there that was abandoned, that was supposed to be illegal. It was used there. A lot of atrocities, war crimes. I mean, as we speak, Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, has been prosecuted, and he's wanted right now by international criminal courts, and there's an arrest warrant on him. But he entered the US and nothing happened.
Can you imagine?
You understand? No one is arresting him because all of them are complicit. UK supports them with intel. America supports them with weapons and money. All these things stems from IPAC. IPAC is a lobby group. Lobby group in America. IPAC is an acronym that stands for America-Israel Public Affairs Committee. So what they do is, if an election cycle comes in, IPAC comes with a lot of money, sponsor the candidates, and then get them to win an election.
Yes, that's in Israel.
No, in America.
Okay, in America.
Yeah, in America. It's an Israeli lobby group
Okay.
in America, controlling America.
I understand.
You understand? That's why
Yes.
all of this is happening. Most of American politicians are being blackmailed to do what they're doing to support this because they have
Right.
something against them. I don't know if you've heard about the Epstein files. That's
No.
another
What's
case
that?
entirely.
Okay.
Epstein is allegedly, or let me say, it's clear. He's an agent of the Mossad, and he's someone that was sponsored, that was given a lot of money. He has an island to himself. So all of these billionaires, politicians,
Yes.
and celebrities go to his island for free coughs and all of these things. They do all these things, and there are so many videos with little children,
Yes.
pedophiles and pedophilia doing a lot of things. So they'll have you on camera do stuff
Okay.
without you knowing, and they'll use it to hold you
Right.
at ransom. So that's what's happening with American politicians right now. So IPAC comes, they give you a lot of money, they sponsor you, and then once you go to power, you do their bidding.
Right.
That's why America
Right.
gives Israel most, like there is no place that America gives aid like Israel.
Like Israel.
Billions and billions. They say America first, as Trump said, but it's a lie. It's Israel first.
Yes.
American foreign policy has always been Israel first, because just recently there was Hurricane Helene. They were looking for like 9 billion for emergency funds.
Yes.
But at that same day, they sent 8.7
That's
billion.
Israel.
Yes, America was looking for
9
9 billion for emergency fund for the hurricane that happened.
Yes.
But then America sent 8.7 billion to Israel for arms, while their people are still suffering.
my
So the people
God.
of America are not together with its governments, because we have seen it. It's evidenced by all the protests
Right.
and all the Free Palestine movement that's been going on.
Right.
So as it stands right now, Gaza is in a devastating, it's in a horrible state, because people are dying of hunger. I mean, it's bad to die of bombs and bullets, but dying of
now-
starvation is far worse. It's a slow, agonizing death.
Oh my God.
Israel has besieged Gaza from all angles. They have covered all the entries, all the borders.
Okay, so nobody can even
There is no
provide.
support.
There's no support.
All they get is some crumbles from the air.
my
The airdrops that comes. And the airdrop, sometimes it comes and drops on kids and kill them. Sometimes it drops on their tents.
God.
It's the most documented genocide, the most documented Holocaust I've ever seen, and the most denied, because there's a lot of propaganda about
Yes.
it, and no one is doing anything about it. So what we can do as individuals, because some people say, what can I do? You just
Yes,
sit and
because
they
people
pass.
actually ask,
Yeah.
and people want to they don't even know how to come.
Well, how to go about this
Yes.
thing first is, like I'm a Muslim, so as my deen advises me, whenever there's an oppression, whenever there's something bad going on, you can do one of three things.
Okay.
You can change it with your hand, with your
Right.
action. You can change it with your voice.
Like what we're doing
Yes,
right now.
right, like what we're doing right now. Or you can change it with your heart, which
Yes.
is the weakest of it, by just praying for
Praying.
it. But you have to be sure you can't do the two before you can only pray about it. But if you can lend a voice,
Yes.
as we're doing right now, you have to lend a voice. If you have something that you can do, you're in power,
Yes.
you can make a difference, you have to stand up and do it. Because being silent in oppression is like you're taking the side of the oppressor.
Right.
And oppression is worse than slaughter, according to my religion. So what you can do, you just have to stand up and talk more about it. As it is, my account has been censored a lot of times.
Really?
Because I engage with a lot of people, all
Yes.
these Zionists online. I engage with them. I have been censored, I've been shadow banned. When you
Because
I'm engaging. So whenever you try to follow me now on Instagram, they'll tell you are you sure you want to follow this account? Review
Yes.
This person is this and that. They'll give you reasons not to want to follow me. So that is it. So you have to speak about it. And again, boycotts.
Okay. All their products, yes.
All these products, Nigerians, I mean, it's difficult. You can even see some Western countries doing better in all these, their
Boycotting,
actions,
yes.
boycotting. All these products that we consume almost every day.
They come from the US, yeah?
They come from the US, and in conjunction Israel as well.
Yes.
And all these funds are going back
to them, and then supporting the genocide. Yes.
So all these things, all the little things that you buy, you try and understand what you're doing, how it affects what is currently going on, because literally kids are dying. I've seen so many footages that make me cry.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
almost every day. And the worst part is people have become desensitized.
Right, and then I don't think it's really talked about as much anymore.
Yeah.
But why is that? Because I don't really see much unless maybe you go to the page. Like you don't really see much because
Well-
I at some point I actually thought it had stopped. You know,
Nah.
the ceasefire and whatnot.
This is the worst it has been. You know,
But
you have-
currently.
yeah. You know, you have to know where you're getting your information from. You know, the mainstream media is
Yes.
rigged. You know, if you are watching all this CNN, Sky News, MBS, and all this other this thing, they are not really telling the truth.
The
The
truth,
narrative,
yes.
they make the narrative to favor Israel. You understand? Even how they write their headlines and everything
Yes.
is rigged. But you have to find like a reliable sources of information.
Like what sort of sources?
Like you can follow Eye on Gaza, Eye
Okay.
on Palestine.
Okay.
You can
All on
follow
Instagram?
Zeteo News.
Okay.
It's owned by Mehdi Hassan.
Okay.
You know, Mehdi Hassan also was he was suspended because he was saying the truth. Then he was working with MSNBS. That's the American and British. The American broadcasting company.
Yes.
So he resigned and opened his
own.
own company called Zeteo. So Mehdi Hassan, if you know Mehdi Hassan, is a very good source of information. And I mean, most of the journalists that I used to follow now are dead.
Okay, are dead.
Yeah, the Palestinian journalists that I used to follow. Just recently, this guy.
Where did he
Anas.
die? Where was he killed? Was he killed?
Yeah, Anas. Like I mean, the journalists that are killed right now in this particular, because I won't call it a war. I won't call it
Yes.
a conflict. It's a genocide. Because a war is between two armies that are of the same power, or at least two armies
Right.
on a battlefield. This is a genocide. So there has been more journalists killed. There has been more journalists unalived.
Unalived, yes.
Sorry for that sensitive word. There's been more journalists
Unalived.
unalived in this current genocide than any other wars combined that has happened ever.
And then journalists are not even supposed to be unalived,
They're
right?
not supposed to
At all.
But then that's because Israel is trying to hide its atrocities. That's why it did not allow international journalists in.
Okay, they do not allow.
They don't allow them in. They lie that they want to protect them from. I mean, we have seen journalists going to war zones. Let them do their own security analysis and safety analysis before they go in. But don't say you're protecting them. Everybody wants to come and see for themselves.
Yes.
They have all been lying. They lied about the underground tunnel in Al Shifa Hospital. Then that Hamas has a base under. They use that as a pretext to bomb the hospitals. I mean, all the infrastructures in Gaza is just like a wasteland now. It will take years to clear the rubble, let alone rebuilding it. No universities, no schools,
Oh my
no
God.
nothing. Even
This
the
is
third oldest church.
devastating.
You know, like for instance, like this is sensitive. A lot of Christians, when they think of Israel,
Yes.
if they're on our side, we support them. But the thing is that Israel is not a place for Christians. It's a place for Jews only, and they made it clear that they want it to be Jews only. Because they have bombed the third oldest church in the world.
You see? So to show that they are not even in support.
Yeah, they're not in support of the Christians as well. They
Yes.
they stopped anything that has to do with you advocating and calling Jesus' name
You see?
openly.
And I
You
don't think
can't-
the Christians really know about
they don't
this.
know.
You know, they
You
are just
can't- you
blinded
can't
to
wa-
all
you-
of
you-
this.
You can't preach and preaching publicly like about Jesus
You see?
in Israel.
You see?
That's against the law.
You see?
You understand? So they have to really understand this. I mean, if Jesus was around, is he going to support all this
At all.
that they're doing?
At all.
And a lot of
Killing
people are supporting.
children.
Children are dying. I mean, children should not be in this. So it has always been about land grab, and they have this thing called Greater Israel. Greater Israel is, they believe all these things is has been promised to them thousands of years ago in their Torah. They believe they are using theology as a justification for politics, for what they are doing. I mean, imagine now a country would come and say it has a right to something because according to a religion, it gives them the rights. Nobody who does that. Religion is separate, and we have politics, geopolitics, all these things are separate.
They're separate, they're not.
So, but then they believe all that land is theirs. Now, after Palestine, they believe part of Egypt is theirs, part of Syria is theirs.
So, meaning
Lebanon
they could
is
all
theirs.
come for all of them,
They
yes?
are coming for all of them.
Oh my God.
They are coming for all of them.
Oh my
They call it
God.
a Greater Israel. So that has always been the plan. It was never about They are feeling threatened by their neighbors. They're feeling like these people are going to come and kill them. They call it a preemptive attack. That is when you know someone is going to attack you,
And then you
go and
do
attack him first.
before,
You
yes.
say the best defense is attack. But nothing. I mean, no, nothing has happened. All these people want to live all they want is just to live in peace.
Peace.
You know,
they just want to
they just
like
want to
the
live in
basics.
peace and just to have a right to self-determination, right to travel out of Palestine, right to do whatever you want to do. I mean, doctors are killed, journalists are killed,
Are unalived, right?
Are unalived. Sorry, I mean, I know it's sensitive, but that's just what
That's just that's the truth.
reality.
We have to
That's
just say
the
it. That's
reality.
just
I keep
the
on saying the
reality.
sensitive word, but that is the reality. I mean, Al Shifa Hospital has been bombed. All the hospitals. I mean, the medical, how will I say, the hospital infrastructure in Gaza is almost down to nothing right now.
Oh my God.
There is no. You see people being treated without anesthetics, open wound and all that.
God.
You see
In the open like
in
that.
the open, you see kids
God.
decapitated with no heads, no arms. Things we have never
my
seen in our
God.
lifetimes. I mean, we felt what happened to the Jews, the Holocaust. I mean, they said never again, but apparently it's never again to them because they are the same people now
The
that
same
are doing
people.
it to. But I don't blame the Jews.
Okay, who do you blame?
I blame the Zionists because they are
Okay, so they are
conflating the
different
two.
people?
They are trying to. It's politics. They are trying to conflate it, and whenever you are against this, they say you're anti-Semitic.
Yes.
And they are against the Jews. But there are a lot of Jews that are against this. So like the Orthodox Jews,
Okay.
they protest too as well.
Okay.
We have a lot of Jews in America.
So they
that
are not in
protesting.
support of
They are not
all
in
of
support.
this.
They make it seem like it's the Jews. Like this is it's a religious war between Islam and Judaism.
Yes.
But no, it's not. They have been living side by side thousands of years in that same Palestine.
So who are those Zionists?
Zionists, it stems from the proponent of Zionists was Theodor Herzl. I think it was like late 1800s. He was the one that had this idea of Zionism, the land of Zion, where it would just be the greater Israel, to build the third temple of Solomon, so that's on the same site where Al-Aqsa is.
Okay.
It's part of their goal,
plan, yes.
part of their plan to demolish Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is for the Muslims. And
So, but it's still there, the mosque.
It's still there, but it's part of their plan.
To demolish it.
Demolish it. I mean,
Gosh,
just
they are really on.
at some point they brought some cows, some heifers from Texas, to slaughter, for them to get victory, just as a sacrifice, victory to build the third temple of Solomon on the Temple Mount where Al-Aqsa is. So all these things have just been pre-planned years and years and years ago, but we have been conditioned in a way not to see it as it is. We have been socially engineered to not be averse to these things, because they have been telling us, the Palestinians, like they have dehumanized them, making you feel like they are barbaric people,
they deserve what is happening.
So that's why a lot of people are not even really averse to it. They don't really talk about it, and all these other cowards, as I call them, the politicians and the celebrities, they choose to protect their career
over humanity, right?
Humanity, basic humanity. At this point, you don't need to be a Muslim or anything to support Palestine.
Right.
You only need to be a normal, ordinary human being to support Palestinians. If you see what is going on as a human being, regardless of who that is being done to, you're supposed to feel something. But at this point, if you don't feel anything, then your humanity is gone.
Right.
I don't even see you as human no more. Because I don't even feel like the Palestinians are the ones that are not free. I feel we are the ones that are not free.
Honestly, because we're not really doing much, right, as we should.
I believe that the Palestinians are the most free people in the world. It is just that they are not free physically, but at heart they are the most free people. Because if you look at the humanity of the Palestinians, look at how they help each other. Look at, in the midst of all this catastrophe, still they coordinate themselves. Still they help themselves. When a bomb drops, immediately they go with their hands, bare hands, they try to remove people out of the rubble.
God.
They still find a reason to smile. They still say Alhamdulillah. Whenever something happens, they still say Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. They still say all these things. So we learn from them, actually, the Palestinians.
Yes.
Their humanity is amazing. It's something to learn from. Honestly, we are the ones that are not free, because we're in the prison of the matrix. All of us, everyone is just caring for himself. So I mean, that is just the state of affairs where we are right now. And there's been some freedom flotillas, some civilians that tried to sail to Gaza to break the
Yes.
siege. But, as we all know, that will not happen. The Israeli army stopped them by the water, arrested them. Even Greta Thunberg.
Who is that?
Greta Thunberg, this girl that has always been talking about the ozone layer and the climate change
Okay.
and all that, she's all about clean energy and all
Yes.
that. So Greta Thunberg was part of them as well. They got all arrested by Israel, even though they were on international waters, not within the boundary of Israel.
But you were
They
still
were
arrested.
and then later they were discharged. Now there's this coalition of other countries, a lot of countries that wants to sail to Gaza and try and break the siege. But we all know if there is no military intervention by
Yes.
other countries, like to come together and stop this, it's not going
But
to
what's
stop.
making those other countries not come together? Like, do these countries even talk about
It's the same thing that is happening to America. Is the same thing that's happening to the rest of the world. If Israel has a grip on America, that means it has a grip on the world.
other? Yes.
Because America is like the watchdog of everyone. America
Right.
is trying to dictate everything for everyone. So America give aids to different countries, military aid,
Yes.
all this
all these humanitarian
whatever
that they always,
yes.
know.
So they'll threaten to pull out all their funds if you support this, if you say that, if all these people that we see as our leaders are not really our leaders. They're just
Honestly.
puppets.
Yes.
They're just puppets that are being
Puppets
controlled.
of the West.
Yeah, they are being controlled by some shadowy, powery people behind the scenes.
Yes.
So, I mean, you see, I can commend this guy from Burkina Faso,
Oh my God.
Ibrahim Traore.
Ibrahim,
for standing
we're
up.
with you. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that man is amazing. He's
Yes.
really what a true leader should be. He's speaking up,
Yes.
he's talking about it, and it's really commendable.
Yeah,
Really, really
he sent
commend.
France out of the country.
You
He's now
see?
trying to rebuild and all that. But apart from that, most of all our other, African
Leaders.
they're just puppets. No one has really stand up to.
And imagine if
do
Africa
nothing.
could come together and unite,
Of course,
to do greater things.
of course. So
But he's just kind of standing by himself doing all of this.
yes, I mean we have a lot. We have a long way to go, to gain freedom. But as it is in history,
Yes.
there is no tyranny that lasts forever. All of it is bound to fall.
So do you
at
think
some point.
someday all of this is going to be?
Well, I hope in our lifetimes. But then, yes, of course, someday it's all going to fall. And that's what they're scared of.
When it falls.
Yeah, they are scared of the falling. That's why they're doing all these things to still remain in power. But every tyrant must fall. At the end of the day, truth will stand taller than.
True.
And justice will actually prevail.
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're all not alone. There's a
higher force.
There's a higher force. We have a God that we all worship,
And he's seeing all
he's
of
seeing
this.
all of this.
And he cannot go unpunished.
Yeah, so everything is going to come to an end, but at least you don't just stay and wait for divine intervention.
Right.
You have to do what you can, because we're all going to be questioned by our God. What were you doing
When this was happening?
What was your power range, and what did you do according to your power? Did you just sit down, or did you
So
try?
once again, what do you think we can do as a collective too?
Well, collectively, I think we should talk about it more.
Okay, talk about it more.
Yeah, talk about it more.
Boycott products.
Boycott products. Find out
Boycott
about-
all these celebrities also that are in support
Yes.
and are not seen, because they need to lend their voices, right?
Yes.
So if they're not talking about it, we need to stop listening to their music, following them on social media, just stop streaming their music,
Yeah.
videos, stuff like that.
And that's the language they understand. When the numbers start to drop,
Drop.
when
That's
the numbers
when,
start to drop, that's
yes,
the
they
num-
start panicking.
Yeah, they start panicking.
Yes.
Their numbers, they all care about their
Their
money.
numbers, the
Yeah,
numbers,
that's
yes.
what- So we have to hold all of these people accountable and try not to be distracted.
Right.
In the process of all this happening,
Yes.
they'll bring a headline. This one divorced that. There's a
Yes.
new relationship between this and that. Why do I care what the celebrities do with their lives when their
Right.
kids been dying?
Right.
They're giving me headlines to distract me. So don't get distracted. And don't
Stay
say,
focused.
This is far.
Alhaji Faruk, as we were saying, here in Nigeria, when we're talking about Gaza or like things that are happening not in Nigeria, people have that mentality where it's like, oh, we have our own problems. Why are we talking about people in Gaza or stuff like that? So what do you have to say about this, and how can we change this mentality that people here have? I know we have our own issues, but then this is far greater than, what was it? This is a...
It's a literal genocide.
Right. So this is really intense.
So what I think is when that's the mentality. Actually, I've heard people saying that, because I find myself mostly talking about this.
Yes.
At gatherings, anywhere I go, is something that I'm very passionate about each time. I mean, anyone that knows me, so I have heard people saying that we have a lot of issues here. We should focus on our own. Why are we talking about somewhere else? But something that is happening somewhere far, if you don't stand up to it, it will come to your doorstep.
Right.
You understand? Just because you have your own problem does not mean you cannot lend a helping hand.
Or a voice.
A voice. I mean, there is no bombs falling on your head. You still have a roof. Even if you don't have a roof to your head, you are still not being gunned down.
Right.
You are still not being chased and all that. Your kids are not dying, or your siblings are not dying by bombs
hunger.
Or starvation, literally, and being denied of medical attention. You don't have that. Whatever your problem is, if you look at it, someone's own is far worse than your own. You still have a reason to be grateful. So we have to come together as humans, regardless of wherever problem is, and talk about it. Don't have that mentality of, okay, here, it's not here in Nigeria. I don't really care. And put yourself in their shoes. How would you feel? Would you want to be supported by international organizations? Would you want to be supported by people out there? Definitely, if you're in their position, you want to be supported. You won't want somebody to be saying, nah, it's not my problem. I would not support the person. You also want help. So, I mean, there's this conversation is very, very minimal in Nigeria. It's very minimal in our spaces.
Because we feel like it's just far away. It's like a different...
People feel like they don't really understand what is going on. But at this point, you can't claim ignorance.
Right.
We can't all claim ignorance.
Because there's information.
There's a lot of information out there. Social media is flooded with it.
Yes.
I mean, except if you just choose to just be at your own comfort zone and don't talk about anything else. I mean, so we need to really talk about it more. We need to, be posting online about it.
Yes.
We need to really engage and know what's going on. Because if you are to ask yourself, what were you doing when the genocide of the Jews happened? Ask yourself, what are you doing right now?
Right.
That's the same thing that you'll be doing. Silence.
Yes.
And history will definitely judge you for it. History will remember those that stood up against tyranny.
Right.
And history will not be fair to those that remain silent.
True.
So you have to, engage with things that are both domestic and international. You understand? We all have that capacity. We have ability to be. We have empathy within our hearts. We're all humans. So it doesn't have to be someone that is the same color as your skin, someone that is of the same creed, religion, or ethnicity before you can lend a voice. We're all humans. Humanity first, even before religion or any other thing.
Absolutely.
Because we all come from the same race.
Yes.
We all have one single head on our necks. So I think that's the way to go about it, for us to talk about it more. And don't think it's not here in Nigeria, because for any issue that is far away and you do not really engage in it, it will come to your doorstep.
Definitely.
Or you'll be tested by something
Definitely.
like that. So I think that's how we should go about it. Let's talk about it more, and let's put more empathy in it.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So as we wrap up, we're left with more than just facts. We're left with a sense of moral urgency. The suffering in Gaza, especially among children, is not just a humanitarian crisis, it's a human one. If today's conversation moved you, we encourage you to act, whether by staying informed, supporting credible humanitarian organizations, writing to your representatives, or simply continue to talk about these issues with empathy and clarity. A huge thank you to Alhaji Farouk Musa for their courage and honesty. And thank you for listening, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Until next time, stay informed, stay compassionate, and never underestimate the power of bearing witness. Thank you.